All right. Makes sense to me, or I'm not sure if that's a good idea. What is legal isn't always moral, and many of your laws and customs are considered barbaric where I'm from. I don't know. I feel like this is potentially the first real opportunity that we have to shape change.
I'm glad you agree. The key things to remember are that we have laws forbidding treason and blasphemy, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson and so on. I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you.
Interesting. You liked the Batman, but it was about 45 minutes too long. I've definitely sat through a few movies like that, so I can commiserate. What do you mean when you said Prosperina sent me?
You see, in my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time, so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back to the past. And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time, do
you? Yes I do. You're right. I'm from 2,000 years in the future.
2,000 years? That is unfathomable. Please, tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us? Of this city?
I didn't see anything, or you'd all been turned into golden statues.
I have imagined it. Our downfall 1,000 times. But it still breaks my heart to hear the truth of it.
How does the ritual work?
All I can tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions. I have to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all rituals, some sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. The life of the person performing the ritual. I don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future?
Oh, yeah, so that must be where the human remains came from. I did see human remains in the temple.
I assume that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me everything. You'll try to make sure I don't need to use it, won't you?
I'll do my best.
Well, I suppose that's all I can ask for.
Why can't you investigate?
Well, I believe you're in the best position to go around asking people questions. You're new here, and it'll seem perfectly normal. As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot.
Fair enough. Do you have any suspects?
Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore? What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better.
Fair enough. How do I know you're not the person responsible? Come on, tell me what you really think. How do I know you're not the person responsible?
Me? Why would you suspect me? I've just told you. I'm about to sacrifice my own life to ensure these people have a second chance. What reason could you possibly have to suspect me, of all people?
Fair point.
I'm glad you think so. Without trust, without each other, we won't be able to prevent what is about to happen.
Fair enough. If I do this, will you help me get back to my own time?
If I understand Proserpina's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself. Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the Golden Rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense?
I think so. That's all the questions I had.
Ah, good. So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the Golden Rule?
All right, I'm in.
Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately.
All right, I'll get started.
Oh, and one last thing. If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. Seems like something's not right.
I'll get right to it. All right, I'm gonna make a little bit of an adjustment here, because the dialogue is very quiet in comparison to the music. Yeah, just walk right into my face, Magistrate. Thanks for that. Alright, so we need to go to the Shrine of Apollo. I feel like my mouse sensitivity needs to be worked on. Inventory. Don't go to my shrine, it's a mess right now. Yes. Ugh. We're gonna turn that motion blur off, that's for sure. That is a horrible time. I'm also going to turn down the quality a little bit because it is dragging on my computer. There we go. That's a little better. Why do games do this? You have this. You have places where there are it is no doubt unpleasant cooking with such poor ventilation, but Romans probably regard this as their servant's problem. These carrots are purple, as they were before modern orange carrots were cultivated. Like, they'll put up invisible barriers places. Ah! Thank you for the guide. I didn't need a guide. I wanted to go talk to somebody else.
Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
You know, some people say it's the creation of an all-seeing god who's watching everything we do. But what kind of an awful, incompetent god would let my sister go missing on his or her watch?
Maybe it's best if you don't go insulting gods, just in case. Fair question.
Did you hear that? Curse you, you coward! Where is my sister? What do you have to say for yourself? No response. Nothing. That's what I thought.
Well, at least we know blasphemy doesn't break the Golden Rule.
I'm telling you, this mysterious god of ours has to be asleep on the job. Either that, or, like people are saying, it really is just a children's fable my father is exploiting to frighten us into behaving.
I suppose we'll find out sooner or later.
I suppose we will.
What's your story?
I'm Sentia, eldest daughter of the magistrate. But you'd know that if you'd been invited in here and introduced properly. What are you doing in here? And why are you dressed like that?
I'm not from around here.
Really? I'd never have noticed, what with your flawless accent, appropriate attire, and impressive mastery of our customs. Now, remind me, why are we having this conversation?
Do you know a way out of here?
Ugh, what is it with you people? You heard the rumor that my little sister escaped and figure I must know a way out too. Is that it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Scintilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone.
Can I help?
I don't know. Can you? Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the harpies?
Your father didn't mention any of this when I spoke to him. Any idea why?
That doesn't surprise me. To him, it was like a prize cow wandering off from its paddock. He's upset, of course, but he says he's too busy with the election to help look for her. So he's letting Horatius do the heavy lifting. Some good that's done.
When did you last see her?
It was 3 weeks ago. We ate our evening meal together, and I remember she seemed happy. In love. We went into our rooms, I went to sleep, and when I woke up, she was gone. That's it.
She was seeing someone?
I think so, yes. But she was very careful about keeping his identity a secret, even from me.
Why is that?
Because our father had plans to marry her off, eventually, and even a rumor about her attachment to some mystery man might have ruined those plans.
Is it possible her lover was involved?
I don't know, but it's been 3 weeks since she disappeared, and he hasn't come forward. That might speak to a guilty conscience. All I know is, whoever he is, he's still here in the city.
There was mention that there were 3 missing people in the city, too. It's possible he's missing as well. Sentia, Scintilla. Why are your names all so similar?
You really aren't from here, are you? All Roman women are named after their fathers. I think it's their way of branding us, like cattle to be sold at market. His family name is Sentius, so I'm Sentia because I'm the eldest. And my little sister is formerly Sentia Minor, but she is affectionately known as Scintilla.
You look surprisingly relaxed about your sister's disappearance.
I hope you're not insinuating I'm somehow pleased with her disappearance.
Just an observation. Are you? I think you know something you're not telling me. Are you?
Ugh, you're awful. Get out of my villa and never speak to me again.
You made her angry. Well, fine. Bluff? I don't know. So here's the thing. I don't know if there's a way to, like, bluff or lie that is not going to get us in trouble. Like, what if it's us or Al, for example, that set off the thing, right? Random centurion doing push-ups.
What were you two talking about?
Sorry, what?
Don't play dumb. I saw you. Having a shady little chat with old man Sentius up on his balcony. What's he offering you? Money? Favours? What's your vote worth to him?
He wasn't trying to buy my vote. We weren't talking about the election. What's it worth to you? Why is his accent English? I'm wondering if the protagonist is English. Because they're, like, we're basically understanding and speaking Latin.
A spit of a fauna career. We've lined up all the votes we need already. Mark my words, Malleolus is going to be magistrate by the end of the day. And if I tell him you've sided with that feeble old has-been, that you've been trying to undermine his hard-won victory, you'll have picked the wrong patron. Got it?
I don't want any trouble. I don't care about the election. I wasn't thinking of interfering, but now I am. Yeah, he's the bad guy, in case you can't tell by his name. I don't want any trouble. I don't care about the election. I wasn't thinking of interfering, but now I am. Maybe I don't care about the election. I don't care about the election.
Then stay out of it. Nobody likes Caput Murday foreigners interfering in an election.
Thanks for the warm welcome. I'll be going. Fine. Mind if I ask some questions?
Can't hurt.
What's your story?
The name's Domitius. You want to get to Malleolus, you go through me.
Good to know. I'd like to meet Malleolus.
Too bad. He's busy. Unless... No. You don't look like you could afford it.
Afford what?
I'm glad you asked. See, he's a busy man, and this is an important day. He'll be inside practicing his victory speech for tonight. Left me strict instructions he doesn't want to be disturbed. So if you want to see him, I'll need something valuable in return.
Sure, makes sense. Isn't soliciting bribes a sin? I'll see what I can do. Forget it, I'll find another way, alright. What do you want? Isn't soliciting bribes a sin?
Bribe? That's such an ugly word. What I'm looking for is more of a tribute to me, your soon-to-be patron.
Alright, what do you want?
Dunno. Something good.
I'll see what I can do.
Just make it good.
Do you know a way out of here?
When Malleolus wins the election, yeah? This place will change. You won't even want to leave. You'll see.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
I think it's gone on long enough. And Malleolus is going to put an end to it once he's elected.
How's he going to do that?
He's going to announce it in his victory speech. Just you wait and see.
Why can't you tell me now?
Because if I tell you, and it gets out, it'll give old man Sentius a chance to interfere in our plans. And we can't have that.
Sounds great. Can I help in some way?
We've already lined up the votes he needs to win. Just stay out of our way, and we won't have a problem.
I'll be going now.
Whatever. Just remember, I'll be watching.
Mm-hmm. You'll be watching while you're, you know, here doing push-ups. I know, right? Nice helmet. Alright, so I can get guidance on my quests by hitting X. Why am I here? I would like to know. I feel like maybe it was the wrong choice. This very terrified peasant over here. I'm trying to figure that out, thanks, right? Exactly.
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step.
Great. Thanks. What's your story? Oh yes, this is the guy that's near the Temple of Apollo.
Can't talk long. Got to stay sharp, but... family's from Seleucia on Tigris. Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions. The 6th. The one they call Ironclads.
How did you end up here?
Same way as everyone else.
Well, that tells me a whole lot. Why are you still wearing your legionary armor?
Because we're all in grave danger. Is it not obvious?
Why don't you have a weapon?
Magistrate made me toss it in the chasm. Stupid. Going to have to improvise now.
Not much of a talker, are you?
If you were dealing with what I am, you wouldn't be either.
What are you dealing with?
None of your business. Introiti ipsam commensula.
Let's talk about something else.
If we have to.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
I'll tell you this much. I hate the fact that my survival depends on the common sense of other people.
I know the feeling. I've lived through a pandemic. Or what do you mean? Whew. What do you mean?
I mean, all these people just bumble along like nothing's wrong. While we're one bad decision away from being wiped out. Like the last lot of people who lived here. Seems like I'm the only one ready for what's coming. Whatever that is. And when it hits, it's everyone for themselves. You've been warned.
What do you think is coming?
I don't know. But did you ever get the feeling some of these statues are watching us when we're not looking? Like they're waiting for something. I don't like it.
I think you're right.
Of course I am.
Do you know a way out of here?
If I did, do you think we'd be having this conversation?
Who are you going to vote for?
Meliodas. Not sure I trust Sentius. Couldn't even protect his daughter in a city without sin. How's he going to protect us?
Anything I can do to change that?
No.
I'll be going now.
Whatever.
I have a strong feeling that, like, basically everybody made this happen. I don't know yet. Why is this one wearing, like, normal clothes?
Salve.
I just heard Galerius. Oh, there he is. That was terrifying. This is the only statue that I've seen wearing, like, normal clothes. Is this a tailor shop? Maybe this is a tailor shop.
Greetings and salutations.
I contributed to making this happen.
Greetings. I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know, from which exotic part of the world do you hail?
My nation doesn't exist yet. I am from beyond the edge of the known world. You'd never believe me if I told you.
And now you have me more intrigued than before. But since it appears you do not wish to share, I will wait until we are better friends. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps?
What's your story?
My story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the forum.
Why set up a tailor shop here?
You mean to say, with all the turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule, and so few customers, why bother setting shop at all?
Yes, more or less.
I'll tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind my friends of the importance of looking one's best. I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree?
Interesting. I appreciate this person's respect of your boundaries. So do I. I like him a lot so far. I suppose so.
Oh, and there is another reason too. If we all end up as golden statues for future generations to marvel at, I don't know about you, but I would like to look my best.
How did you end up here?
A good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself.
Why don't you tell me what you do remember?
I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares, and drowning in coin, I decided to celebrate my success. I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few select friends, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could buy. Quite a lot of it, in fact. Now, I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but none of that compares to this. This time, I remember people screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation, gasping for air, and then nothing. When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles from my villa.
Enjoy the reading the character speech? Thank you. So, you floated down the Tiber, or sounds like you overdid it. You floated down the Tiber?
Indeed. I'm lucky I was carrying a little extra weight. I believe it kept me afloat. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger.
Sounds familiar.
I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I am.
Let's talk about something else.
Anything you like.
Doing a similar thing with Wilder Myth. I don't know if you've seen that before. I think you would enjoy it. No, it's a game I'm not familiar with. Do you know a way out of here?
Shh! Not so loud. What are you playing at?
Sorry, did I say the wrong thing?
Have you not been told about the last attempt?
The last attempt?
Oh, then I suppose this duty falls to me. Ah, it is a long story.
It's not as if I'm going anywhere.
Aha, you are witty. I like that. Of course, the first question any of us asks when we first arrive is, how do I escape? It is only natural after all. and scaling the chasm wall is out of the question, for it is simply too steep and too far. But as they say, if the wind fails, use the oars. And here the second option is to leave the way we came in, through the shaft above the bathhouse. See, the shaft is quite high, but if one gathered up enough wood, one could make a series of ladders and climb one's way out.
Why hasn't anyone done that yet?
They have. I am getting to that. There was an attempt, made by resourceful fellows who lived here some years ago. They even decided to keep records of their escape attempt for posterity. Unfortunately, as soon as they began to carry the first ladder down the hallway, they heard a godlike voice shake the entire city, and that, tragically, is where their tale ends. So it seems that to merely attempt escape is to invite the wrath of whichever god oversees this place, and so I say it is best to not even discuss it aloud.
Got it. Thanks. Like a procedurally generated character-driven RPG, combat artwork is like papercraft minis, and the story elements are presented like comic book panels. Ooh, that sounds really cool. What do you think about the Golden Rule?
Ah, yes. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. As a Greek, this is nothing new to me. It is how our gods operate.
Why do you say that?
Have you not heard the tale of the god Hades? He was the first to learn this dreadful lesson when he abducted Persephone and imprisoned her in the underworld. When Demeter, the mother of Persephone, learned of this, she did not punish Hades, the guilty one. Instead, she changed the climate of Earth so that it became hot and dry. Nothing grew. The grain turned to empty husks and the rivers dried up. Innocent people died by the tens of thousands until at last the other gods were forced to act, lest they have no worshippers left. So yes, we know this rule. This has always been the case. The Golden Rule has merely brought it into focus.
What can we do about it?
If we are to survive, I say we must each heed the simple wisdom of Thales of Miletus, first of the 7 sages of Greece, who said, "Avoid doing what you would blame others for doing."
Sounds simple enough.
It does, doesn't it? But it is not enough for us to do this alone. For even if 99% of us adopt this principle, that will never be enough. Sadly, no matter how well we protect ourselves, the life's work of many good people can be undone in the blink of an eye by a single selfish act.
It's a pessimistic view of things, or I know, I've seen it happen. So let's be selfish. Hi, Cherry Round, how we doing? And it's lovely to see you back in Mountain Shade Village. How are you today? I know, I've seen it happen.
Ah, the voice of experience. I am sorry for your loss, my friend. But on a lighter note, I will say one thing for the Golden Rule. For all their grim and haunting poses, these golden statues do make magnificent models for my clothing, do they not?
Who are you going to vote for?
That, my friend, is quite the dilemma. But after some reflection, I'm leaning toward voting for Malleolus. I do not enjoy the thought of another visit from Domitius if I voted the wrong way.
Anything I can do to change that?
Nothing comes to my mind, my friend.
I'll be going now.
I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
Alright. Overarching campaign stories too. Really well written. That's awesome. There's so many good story games. It makes me so happy. I don't know that I'll ever have time to play through them all, but I sure enjoy it.
Make sure you stay away from that empty shrine. It's going to collapse at any moment.
The empty shrine? Which empty shrine? The Shrine of Apollo?
Greetings and salutations.
I'm so used to having to like click to interact with the doors, it's almost weird to just be able to walk forward into them. Lucretia.
Give me a moment. Sorry I'm such a mess. I just lost a patient. and a dear friend. Yulia. She was a good woman.
What happened?
She was poisoned. She came in here frothing at the mouth. Normally, I'd treat her with resin of silphium, a rare plant which is perfect for this sort of thing. And I knew Decius had some at his market stall, right around the corner. So I ran over there, but he just looks at me with this evil smile and says, "That'll be 1,000 denarii." There was no way I could afford that, and he knew it. Then that toad shrugs and says, "Supply and demand. I guess you don't value your friend's life that highly." Anywhere else, I'd just pay a thug to steal it from his stall, but there's no way I can do that down here with the golden rule. So all I could do is come back here and just watch her die. I kept on apologizing. And now I'll never know who poisoned her, or how they managed to do it without breaking the golden rule, or why she cursed that snake's cruel black eyes with her dying breath.
Is there something I can do to help?
Well, unless you have the power to bring someone back from the dead, there's really just one thing you can do. Get me that silphium resin. I'm going to have another patient in here soon. Could be in the next day or in the next hour. And I will not allow this to happen again. I don't care how you get it, but you have to make it happen. Because if I lose another patient this way, I swear to the gods below, not even the golden rule will stop me from marching up to that genetricum fututo and scratching his eyes out.
That's dangerous talk. I'll see what I can do. I'll get right on it. I'll see what I can do. What's your story?
I'm Lucretia, and I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not a physician. This is Nevia's clinic. I've just been filling in ever since she disappeared. I'm tired and out of my depth and miserable all the time. But I'd rather take this on myself than let one of you lot mess it up.
How did you end up here?
My husband and I moved to Rome from Caesarea. He embraced the Roman way more than I would have liked and turned into an awful philanderer. I would have divorced him and demanded the return of my dowry, but I knew he would sooner have me killed than give me my right. So I waited for the right time to take what was mine and disappear. And then the fires came. As he prepared to evacuate our villa, I gathered our most precious belongings, coins and gemstones, and the moment his back was turned, I ran. I could barely see for the smoke, and the streets were full of people trampling each other. I ran for the river, like everyone else, and leapt in. The next thing I remember, I was waking up on a riverbank, not far from here.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all right. Say what you will about this place. At least my fornicating husband will never find me. And while there's no shortage of snakes here, at least with the golden rule, they have to try to be discreet about it.
Why are you working out of a shrine?
Oh, this shrine was in use as a clinic long before any of us arrived here. Kind of strange to set up a clinic in the temple of the god of disease. But the god who inflicts a curse is also the only god who can undo it. So I suppose praying to Apollo for healing kind of makes sense.
Tell me more about Naevia.
Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician. But she was the closest thing we had down here. And she was good, too. Until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about the golden statues. "This changes everything," she kept saying. But I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues, like she could talk to them. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from the inside, and nobody's seen her since. She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem. A real thorn in the paw situation. One of my patients is suffering from terrible rheumatism. His joints are inflamed and he's in constant pain.
Go on.
He's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off, and I worry he'll end up losing his temper and lashing out, and you know what that means. I just know Nevia would know how to treat him, assuming she's still alive. But nobody seems to know how to get into the palace.
I'll see what I can do.
Thanks, I suppose.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
A city without sin might sound good on paper, but whoever dreamt it up didn't think it through. Maybe it was an attempt to create some kind of utopia. But snakes like Decius will always find loopholes to exploit. And what can we do about it? Absolutely nothing. In some ways, we are worse off because we can't take the law into our own hands.
Do you know a way out of here?
I wish. Some people here need proper medical care, not the half-baked, hanging by a thread excuse for treatment I'm giving them. Just don't get sick or injured here. I'll do my best to treat you, but I'm out of my depth and dangerously short on everything you can imagine.
Can we talk about Yulia?
Sure. What do you want to know?
Do you know what poisoned her?
Hemlock, I believe.
Is there any reason she may have wanted to die?
I haven't seen her in months. She's not allowed to leave Malleolus' villa, and they are quite secretive.
How does Lucretia get her clothes so white and clean? It is a Roman society, so I'm sure part of it is just a depiction of that. But yeah, they're very pristine. Also, they are in a closed space. They are in Roman Tide. Something like that. Do you think she was poisoned or was it self-inflicted? We already know this, but we're gonna ask again.
Do you really want to know? I mean, if somebody poisoned her, then surely they would have broken the golden rule, and so maybe it's best we don't discuss it.
Let's talk about something else.
Gladly.
I keep hearing statues whispering. Is that normal?
Oh no. Sorry, I don't mean to worry you, but no, that is definitely not normal. There was one other person who claimed she could hear the statues talking to her. But that was Nevia, and she went a little mad.
Tell me more about Nevia.
Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician, but she was the closest thing we had down here. And she was good, too, until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd
seen that already.
The last, and then she's been gone so long now. We figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem.
Alright. We already got this. But we can ask who now. Who has the terrible rheumatism? I bet they bleached it with dye every time they washed their clothes. Romans understood hygiene. That's true. Romans were pretty good with hygiene.
I really shouldn't say. He wouldn't like it. And he's a little bit scary. He's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off. And I worry he'll end up losing his temper and lashing out. And you know what that means. I just know Nevia would know how to treat him, assuming she's still alive. But nobody seems to know how to get into the palace.
Interesting.
Thanks, I suppose.
I'll be going now.
Well, come back if you get sick or injured. Day or night, I'll do what I can.
Thanks, Lucretia. So I'm wondering if that is Malleus or the other guy, like the henchman that we met. A wooden rack containing various dried and ground substances. Collection of barbaric-looking medical implements, including forceps and shears. Yes, forceps and shears are definitely very barbaric. Mortar and pestle. Haven't changed much in the last 2 millennia. Yes. Is it normal to hear statues?
May Apollo keep you safe.
Thank you. I guess I can search her at some point, but doing that now seems odd. Shears, I have the vapors. Alright. We've got a lot of leads now. Dying gasp. Stone mill. Looks like flour and grain were poured in from above, ground between the stones as the handles were rotated. A circular loaf of bread designed to be pulled apart into wedges. Appears to be freely available to anyone who wants it. I don't feel a need for it right now. We have a bread recipe. Generous pinch of yeast, pinch of salt, warm water, flour. Wait a minute. How old is dried yeast? My brain wants it to be like a more modern invention, but... Is it old? Because, like, I know things like fermented beverages and stuff like that. The yeast was not a dried commodity. Yes. But you can. A shopping list. People planning for their escape. I don't think so. I could be wrong. But basically, this is one of the reasons, like, sourdough starters continue to be a thing. Because you're dealing with a liquid yeast, or a constantly growing yeast. Dooley's note. I did not do it. Dooley. Not known when yeast was first used to bake bread. Earliest definite records come from ancient Egypt. Research speculate that a mixture of flour, meal, and water was left longer than usual on a warm day. The yeast that occur in natural contaminants of the flour caused it to ferment before baking. Excellent. So yeah, like, it's not a powder that you reconstitute most of the time. Or like, historically.
Hello? Hello?
What's your story?
My name's Dooley. I live here now because I got in trouble and they said they had to lock me up.
What did you do?
I don't know. I don't remember things so good. I think it's just because I was looking for treasure.
Did somebody think you were going to steal? Or so you're a thief? Did somebody think you were going to steal?
Yes. But I wasn't. I was just looking.
Is that all?
They said I did it. More than once. But I can't remember things so good. Then they called me a mean name. They called me a liar, Billy.
A liability?
Yes. They said I have to live here now. and gave me this letter. But I'm not good with words. Do you think you could read it for me?
Summary. Magistrate Sentius explains Dooley was locked up to prevent him from trespassing. I am writing to you in relation to your incorrigible antisocial behavior arising from your obsession with the alleged lost treasure. While I am sympathetic to your plight and the passing of your guardian Hannibal some weeks ago, I wish to impress upon you an important message. The treasure you seek does not exist. Given your memory limitations, it seems likely you simply misremembered. More importantly, since you have on several occasions been caught trespassing, including around the cisterns, which are strictly off-limits to all citizens, I have reluctantly come to the conclusion that you are a liability to this community and must have your freedom limited, lest you break the golden rule. It is my hope that this letter will assist you to remember why you are incarcerated, should you experience further lapses in memory.
What does it say?
It says they caught you trespassing several times, and they locked you up to stop you breaking the golden rule.
My treasure!
What treasure?
My friend Hannibal used to look after me. He said he always would. But then, he died. It was very sad. He said if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious hidden away. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe until I found the treasure. But I couldn't find it. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns, but when I went up to the high one, they put me in here. Now nobody looks after me, except my friend Galerius. And Ek, the priestess lady. She's a nice lady.
It is really heartbreaking, isn't it? If you give me the key, I can try to find out what it unlocks.
Hannibal said I shouldn't give it to anyone I didn't trust. But maybe you could help me get out of here. Then I would trust you a lot.
Let me talk to the magistrate about getting you out of here.
Galerius already tried that. He said the magistrate wouldn't listen, no matter what.
Then maybe it's time we had a new magistrate. Or maybe I'll break you out. Move for the new magistrate or help break him out. Maybe it's time we had a new magistrate.
Like Galerius? He's nice. I like Galerius. He made me a doll and everything. If you help make him magistrate, he can get me out of here, and I can give you the key to my treasure. Hannibal said it was in the cisterns. I can't remember what it was, just that it was way up high and very precious.
It's possible for us to get Galerius to run for magistrate, which is interesting, because so far we only have two options. I'll see what I can do.